Good morning, everyone. This is Nathan Lindorf with the Rational Independent, and today we have an interesting development in the ongoing saga with President Trump and classified documents. From Newsweek, Donald Trump audio tape is game, set, match for the prosecution, according to an attorney. I'm going to read two paragraphs from this article that really encapsulate the pertinent information. Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Harry Litman was reacting to claims first reported by CNN that Special Counsel Jack Smith's office had obtained an audio recording of the former president saying that he was in possession of a classified Pentagon document about a potential attack on Iran. The audio recording was from July of 2021. Reportedly reveals Trump saying he could not show it to others at a meeting in Bedminster, New Jersey, because they did not have clearance to view the classified document, and Trump no longer had the authority to declassify it. This is one of the reasons why I've never been a fan of President Trump as a candidate. He is loose and sloppy in his process. The argument I've been making in regards to all of this is that the president, while president, has complete power to classify and declassify. From the reporting I had seen, President Trump's argument was, those documents that I'm in possession of, I declassified before I left. That is a sound, coherent process. That works. That's an argument that holds together. And if you have a disciplined mind and you're willing to stand on the principle, you can stand on that principle and as a former president, essentially, never have to worry about getting in trouble for classified documents. This statement from July of 2021 indicates that President Trump had material that he himself was designating as still classified, even though he's no longer president. That's clearly not proper process, not proper handling of classified documents. And I think the reason why he makes a statement like this is that he wants to have it both ways. And that's one of the fundamental flaws of President Trump as a leader, as a politician. He wants to see himself as special. In recent campaigning efforts, he's been calling out Ron DeSantis as disloyal because President Trump endorsed DeSantis during his first governor run, and that helped him get elected. President Trump, in his mind, says that that means that Ron DeSantis needs to show loyalty and basically not compete against President Trump. He needs to not run for president. That's not a principle of loyalty. That's saying I'm special and I should be treated special. It is rule by the person, rule by the man. And that's President Trump's great Achilles heel. He doesn't have the discipline to study the rule of law and to abide by the rule of law. He abides by the rule of what can I get away with through my considerable personal charisma. That works for a lot of people, and that works in a lot of contexts. But it gets you in trouble if you have people coming after you. I'm not a lawyer, I just pay attention, but some things to consider. President Trump lies all the time. We have an audio tape of him referring to a document that supposedly was in his possession and supposedly was still classified after he left office. That's not direct evidence. That indicates it's quite likely. But in a court of law, President Trump's lawyers could stand up and say, he was bragging to his associates he never had such a document. He was lying. President Trump can take the position that he was lying in that conversation. And from an evidentiary perspective, that's arguable. Whether a judge would find it persuasive, who knows? By the time you're in court arguing with a judge about whether or not you can get away with this, most normal people look at that and go, oh, I'm already in trouble because here I am. President Trump is so adversarial that feels pretty normal to him. That's very unusual. That's an outlier set of behaviors. So as excited as the mainstream media is about this and Reddit, everything else on the first page was like 1 to 5,000 votes. This one had 40,000 votes. This is the thing Reddit wants to talk about today because it vindicates the story that a lot of people tell themselves about Donald Trump, that he's been a bad guy this whole time, etc., etc. And if you believe that story, this is damning information. Critical thinking perspective, this is damaging to President Trump, especially because it undermines the credibility of his argument he was trying to make, where he said, as president, I had declassification authority, and therefore the stuff that I was holding, I had declassified while president, therefore not a problem. However, if he's also saying, here's some other documents I have that I chose not to declassify, That's a problem. To add a third layer to all of this, why would a person who is in the middle of trouble here essentially voluntarily make it an admission against his own interest and voluntarily say, oh, no, I didn't declassify that one? He's the only one that could determine whether or not that document was declassified. But, and this is kind of what leads to the lying conversation, if he's in conversation with, I guess, a biographer or somebody, which is what this conversation was, some kind of reporting. If he's in a conversation with a biographer, this is a friendly audience. If he's making a statement that he can't show them a document because it's classified, that's him among friendly people basically saying, listen, my hands are tied. I'd love to show this to you, but I can't. This is talking out of both sides of your mouth. This is what a BS artist does. It doesn't show signs of integrity. It shows signs of wanting to get what you want in the moment and not really caring about the big picture. That's a Trump characteristic. And that's enough to drive a lot of people crazy, myself included. For myself, I would think that we need a president who is willing to be adversarial, but also willing to hold to the rule of law, also willing to be disciplined in his thought, speech, and action. You can be opposed to your political opponents. You can be charismatic. You can be effective as a chief executive without abandoning discipline and the rule of law. What the Republican Party is dealing with when it comes to President Trump is not that President Trump is uniquely gifted or in some way that President Trump is uniquely the only one who can be president. What we're dealing with is the Republican Party has served us up a constant stream of Bushes and McCains and Romneys, etc., mealy-mouthed, weak-willed, captured Republicans that are basically part of the establishment, but are playing the role of the opposing party and saying, oh, we're going to be tough and strong and support you, but really we want to keep going the same direction the Uniparty wants to go, just a little slower so everyone feels okay about things. Republicans are sick of that. The reason why President Trump has enduring loyalty among Republican base voters is that Republicans want a politician who will actually stand up to the establishment powers that be in the media and in politics and tell them that they are liars and thieves. Tell them that they are corrupt and say, I'm not putting up with it and I'm not going to pretend that this is okay. You can't be polite when you say that. You have to be really antagonistic in order to reach the point where you are unwilling to be captured by the system. That's a good thing. You need to be unwilling to be captured by the system while also being persuasive enough to get elected to be part of the system. And the combination of those two factors is Donald Trump. Donald Trump has a bunch of other, those are the pros, those are in the pros column. The cons column is really long. And basically what the Republican voters are telling the Republican Party is that we need these two items in the pro column and we're willing to overlook all this other nonsense. My last point when it comes to the classified documents. One of the reasons why this is not a game changer for people on the right is because if you believe that classified documents, mishandling, is a major threat and a crime worthy of prosecution, you have to investigate all players regardless of political affiliation. Otherwise, it's not a rule of law question, it's a witch hunt question. A witch hunt meaning I'm pursuing you because I'm prosecuting you because I want to come after you personally for political or other reasons. Not I'm pursuing anyone who has violated these statutes. And two examples come to mind, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. When President Biden was a senator, he had classified documents in his possession. After being a senator, being a vice president, which by the way, doesn't give you declassification authority, he continued to collect and maintain possession of a variety of classified documents. After he left being a vice president and he was a private citizen for 4 years, he retained possession of all of these classified documents. After becoming president for several years, he still kept all of these things. And only in the last few months has he said, oh, by the way, I found a bunch of these classified documents. Here you go. That is mishandling of classified information. That is not okay. That's against the law. And yet you don't see a whisper of interest from the DOJ at prosecuting those crimes. Hillary Clinton had aides pull classified documents out of a SCIF, cut off the classified markings, and email them to her on her own personally maintained email server that was completely outside the classified documents handling scheme. There's a whole separate internet for classified documents. You may or may not know this. There are rules and procedures that protect these sorts of things. And Hillary Clinton said, that's too inconvenient for me. Screw that. I'm going to do it my own way. And she was Secretary of State. She's a cabinet official. She was appointed, not even elected. If you are going to say Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden are fine, you cannot at the same time say, but attack Donald Trump for basically the same thing. And to be fair, on the flip side, if you are President Trump, you cannot say, I had the authority to declassify all those documents and I did, so they're declassified and it's fine. And also say, oh, I can't show you that one's still classified. You have to rule with principle or you're going to get yourself in trouble. That's my Reddit rant for today. Good luck out there.